Netflix and many other movie streaming platforms use a very powerful algorithm called as singular value decomposition, and I'm going to talk about it. So let me give you an example using the movie recommendation using some sample data. So let's say you have some list of users and you have a list of movies. Each user can give a rating between 1 and 5. If they like the movie, they would give a rating of 5. If they didn't like the movie, they would give a rating of 1. So for example, Alice has given a very good rating for Matrix, Inception, as well as Interstellar, but she has not given a very good rating for Titanic. So should we recommend the movie Notebook to Alice or not? And this is the question which the SVD algorithm will help us answer. Now, let's see on how this algorithm works. So this algorithm will take the original rating matrix. It is going to then decompose it into 3 other metrics. And then it is going to find something called as latent factors. So latent factors is user preferences for certain kind of movies like sci-fi movies or romantic movies. Now these latent factors are not actually present in the data, but the algorithm is going to derive it automatically. And for this reason, it is called as latent factors. And then it is going to also reconstruct back the original matrix just as a sanity check. So here is the formula. You have the rating matrix, which is then decomposed into 3 other metrics. And let us see on how this process works. So here you have the original rating matrix, which is then decomposed into a user matrix. So this matrix has got the list of users, as well as it also has got these latent factors like sci-fi and romance. And then it has got an indication on how much of this user prefers this kind of movies. So for example, Alice prefers sci-fi movies, so you have a very high positive score, but she doesn't prefer romantic movies. So you have a negative score over here. Then you have a second matrix, which is the important matrix, which states on how much of these factors is important. Now, the next matrix is the movie matrix, where you can see for each movie how much is the sci-fi content and how much is the romantic content. So for example, Matrix has got very high sci-fi content and very less romantic content, but the movie Notebook doesn't have too much of sci-fi content, but a very high romantic content. Now, based on this, you can make this interpretation such as, for example, for factor 1, which is the sci-fi preference, Alice has got a very high preference for sci-fi. And when it comes to movie, the movie Notebook doesn't have too much of sci-fi content, which means that Alice is not going to like the movie Notebook. So we should not recommend the movie Notebook to Alice.